Welcome back to Wicket Women, the cricket conversation you don't want to miss, with me, your AI host, Alexa Tun. Coming up in the program.
It's still my big dream that I can play for my country and for my people and show the world like Afghanistan women can play cricket like other women as well.
We speak with Firooza Afghan, a member of the Afghanistan women's cricket team, as they continue to dream. Plus,
you are the canvas upon which these Afghani women are going to paint their cricket futures.
Clare Cannon, founder and chair of Cricket Without Borders, joins us for a deep dive into her work for the women's game. But first, more from our Caught on Camera series with South African captain Laura Wolvaardt.
Hi, I'm Laura Wolvaardt, South African captain, and welcome to Wicket Women.
You've played in India both as a South Africa cricketer, captain of course, and as a WPL player. What are the key takeaways that you have gleaned from your playing experience in the subcontinent that you reckon could come in handy when it comes to navigating India conditions?
Well, it's nice that I've spent a bit of time in India. Obviously, WPL, a bit of a different format. The wicket's always very flat, very nice to bat on. So I imagine the World Cup will probably be similar. I think whenever we play cricket in India, the crowds are always absolutely insane. And the same goes for World Cups. I know we had that final at the World Cup in Newlands that was, sold out and absolutely amazing. So,
anything different in terms of navigating the conditions, format that you would want to touch upon?
It is different. I think it'll be almost more challenging as a captaining in an ODI World Cup compared to T20. I think T20s, nowadays teams only go one way. They go very hard with the bat, so you have to be quite defensive in your fields. Whereas ODI cricket, there's a lot more time in the game to perhaps be a bit more attacking for longer periods of time. I think it takes a bit more strategy throughout that whole time. So I think it'll be a bigger challenge, definitely.
How have you grown as a skipper, Laura? Because we still see the youngster, long hair, take those cover drives under Mignon Dupree, Dani Van Niekerk, Sunellis, and now we see yourself leading the country with pride and excellence.
Yeah, thank goodness I changed my hairstyle. No, it's been going well. I think it's been quite a big year of learning for me as a cricketer, as a captain. Obviously, as a batter, I sort of just thought about myself and what I needed to do, but now I have to think for a whole lot of people, think a lot more strategy. I think in turn it's helped my batting, thinking about conditions more and what I can do to help the team. I'm still learning as I go. Obviously every game is a new challenge because it's different teams. My lineup sometimes looks a bit different, so it's still testing me a bit. I think I'm doing a good job of learning, and hopefully I can learn a bit more.
Women's cricket in Afghanistan has faced immense challenges, but stories of resilience continue to shine through. Today, we hear from one of those voices. Firooza Afghan, a proud member of the Afghanistan women's cricket team.
We have amidst us today on Wicket Women Firooza Afghan, who was one of the contracted players of the Afghanistan Cricket Board just before, I'm talking weeks literally, the Afghanistan country was retaken over in fact by the Taliban. Unfortunate as that incident was, a lot has happened on the Afghanistan women's cricket circuit, and to talk about it all, we have Firooza herself. A very warm welcome to you, Firooza.
Thank you, Anisha. Thank you to having me here.
Firooza, first off, I would love for you to shed some light on how has your own life been affected and that of your colleagues, former Afghanistan women cricketers, and also the current crop who still hold that national record I just referenced, because you had all signed the contracts, I'm given to understand, digitally. But in April 2025, which is literally a few weeks/months ago, the ICC announced that there is going to be a dedicated fund as well as a robust high-performance training program for Afghanistan's female cricketers, who are, many of whom, in fact, are currently living in exile in Australia. Can you talk us through how your life may have changed since that announcement?
Yes, I can't explain my emotion when I heard the news, and I think it was midnight that I heard the news, and I started calling my teammates to share this news to them as well. And I just called one of my teammates and said, Fariba, can you hear about the news? And she was like, Firooza, it was midnight. You need to back to sleep. What you talking about? And I said, this is the news that we heard about the ICC. They want to support us and give us fund. And yes, I just can't say I'm so happy for, not just for this 25 contract player, for all Afghanistan women who have now a chance to prove them they have a talent and they have a passion for this sport, and they can represent their country and they can play a sport like other women's team. Yes. So I'm so happy for this announcement.
Since that announcement was made public and it sort of permeated across publications, podcasts, all sorts of media, have you had a chance, or any of the Afghanistan women players, especially those part of that 25-player contract pool, been connected or been in touch with the Afghanistan Cricket Board? Has any effort been made to establish contact between these two parties?
No, unfortunately, we don't have any contact with Afghanistan Cricket Board. We just heard about the news and we're just waiting for more information about this announcement. And yes, like when we come in Australia, when we leave Afghanistan in 2021, we didn't have any connection with them yet. So
how has life taken shape ever since you decided or were forced to move to Australia with the help of a number of people, who sort of chipped in just at the right time, ensuring that you got a new lease of life, so to speak, and started life afresh? Can you talk us through the adjustments you had to make? I'm given to understand that many of you initially did not know how to even speak in English, but that became one of the key things or activities to do so that you could communicate.
yeah, so it was 2021 when we signed our contract as a national players, and we just were like as a national player just 6 months in Afghanistan. We didn't have play any match internationally on cricket stage. We just were as a national player on a contract, and then in 2021 when Taliban take over our country, we have to left behind everything and just leaving our country and come to Australia. I just can say that that time was very difficult for all of us, not just for me, for all of my teammates, because we know that if the Taliban if they can find us, what gonna happen for us? And yeah, it was hard time, but fortunately the girl is now here and we can like play in Australia in a safe place, and I'm so happy for my team that they can be here.
It's not just women in cricket who were ostracized by the Taliban, but pretty much all sorts of basic human rights were stripped from women. Their identity, there were restrictions imposed on movement as well. What did it feel like following all of that from Australia, watching what was happening to women back home in Afghanistan?
Yeah, when I see them in darkness, it's very sad for me because I know how it's difficult for a woman that living in a country that you have no right to just live, because they don't have any rights.
Since you mentioned about Australia, Firooza, tell us how easy or difficult was it initially for you to adjust to the new life that you received along with that of your teammates in Australia? Because obviously you were moving geographically, but also culture-wise, it was a brand new ball game, so to speak. And English, I'm given to understand, was one of the first things you had to learn because communication had become really, really integral to establishing contact and just conveying yourself, expressing yourself to the people of not just Australia, but all those good Samaritans from around the globe who chimed in, who started contributing at the right time to give you a new lease of life, so to speak?
Yes. So, living in a new country, it was never easy for me. When I come here, I was struggling with English because I need to speak with a different language that I never speak it. And yes, continue my cricket training, continue my studying. It was very difficult for me because everything changed in our life, and cricket is pretty much different here from Afghanistan. And I was like, how I can improve my cricket? How can I improve my living in Australia?
You spoke of how different cricket is in Australia to that in Afghanistan. Tell us a little bit about how was it growing up in Afghanistan as a girl? How did you fall in love with the sport? How did you happen to take up that sport? How did this affair with cricket come about in your life, Firooza? Tell us a little bit about your family as well to that end, because I'm interested to know whether somebody in your family played the sport, which is why you might have developed an interest.
Yes, I think that time I was a younger, and my sister, she loved cricket, and I saw her that she sitting close to TV, and she watched the Afghanistan men's matches. And that time, cause I was a young girl and like I was a kid, I loved to see the cartoon Tom and Jerry, and I pushed my sister to give me the remote that I can see the cartoon, and she was like, "No, Feroz, this is the Afghanistan men's matches. This is the World Cup, and it's very important. I never want to miss this." And she had me to sit down and watch cricket on the TV, and then I just too many questions it's come to my mind, and I just asked my sister, "What's happened? What they gonna do?" And she explained everything, every single rules of cricket to me. And after that, because she played first in our family cricket, and then she encouraged me to come and play cricket. I just found a friend, and she comes to me and said, "Okay, you can bowl and I can bat. That's all. We don't need a team." And we just play, and we just start play cricket from that school together. And then we play cricket for our city, Herat city, and then we select for Afghanistan women's national team in 2020 in Afghanistan women's selection camps. So yes, that was my cricket journey.
Excellent story. And I'm very curious to know something that you mentioned, because the school cricket structure is prevalent in very many countries, right? India, Australia, think of any country where cricket is a fairly established sport. There is a robust school cricket structure. You spoke of school cricket. So in Afghanistan, is women's school cricket, girls' school cricket a thing? Or was it a thing back in the day before the Taliban takeover in August 2021?
Like it was never, but when they decide to make Afghanistan women's team, they need to start from a school and find the girls from a school, and then choose it from their city, and then after the city they invited to come for Afghanistan selection camps, and then they select Afghanistan women's team. If I explain, in all Afghanistan there was just 3 teams: Afghanistan national teams, Herat teams, and Kabul teams.
Thanks for the clarification, Firooza. That really helps understand that there was indeed a system blossoming for girls and women in Afghanistan before the Taliban takeover happened in August 2021. To that end, how do you look back on the past few years and everything that has happened since the roller coaster ride, the wait, the exile in Australia? How would you sum up this entire journey that you've had, and now the sliver of hope that has emerged amid the wreckage through that ICC announcement? What do your hopes and plans for the future look like?
So it was my dream to represent my country and can play cricket for my country and for my people. And yes, it's still my big dream that I can play for my country and for my people and show the world like Afghanistan women can play cricket. like other women as well. And they have the talent, they have the passion for this sport. So yeah, it's all my dream to just play for my country and represent them.
Powerful words, Firooza. I wish you all the very best, not just to yourself, but to your family and all your colleagues, teammates, and every single person who's come to become a part of the journey of the Afghanistan women cricketers since that Taliban takeover in August 2021. Thank you so much for your time and all the very best.
From the courage of Afghanistan players to the global grassroots of the women's game, our next guest has been opening doors for girls and women to play cricket across borders. Clare Cannon, founder and chair of Cricket Without Borders.
Clare Cannon, thank you so much for being part of Wicket Women. It's an honor and pleasure to have you on this show. Talk us through your mission. What is it all about?
Cricket Without Borders takes young women from mostly around Victoria in Australia on tours around the world. So with Mel Jones, former Australian player, and Ken Jacobs, who used to run Cricket Victoria for many years, we took our first tour in 2011. And since then, we have toured in Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, Samoa, Fiji, Cook Island, Vanuatu, and Malaysia last year.
One of those matches, of course, took place earlier this year, featuring the Afghanistan women players. Talk us through that journey. I'm sure it must not have been easy, right, to bring together female cricketers who have been in exile, mostly in Australia, following the takeover of Taliban back in August 2021.
So that's right. So for the what we do apart from play matches is we're really there to develop the young women who come and play for us as cricketers and as people, but also to develop the game. So I think over the years, Cricket Australia has followed our journey. We've never been funded by Cricket Australia, but Nick Hockley, former CEO of Cricket Australia, thought the match between Cricket Without Borders and the Afghan women's refugee team would be a perfect mix. So both the ICC and Cricket Afghanistan had disallowed a match as them playing for their country. But Cricket Australia got around it to saying it was the Afghan women's team playing as themselves. And they invited us to be the team that they would play because of our shared values around the role of cricket and the way it can develop young women, and because it couldn't have been a national team that played them because this was disallowed. So it was an incredible opportunity for us. And we picked our best girls who would represent our brand and be ambassadors for our brand. And as I said to them, you are the canvas upon which these Afghani women are going to paint their cricket futures.
And that is going to be one of our sidebars, I'm sure, full quotes, so to speak, because it's a beautiful thing to say. And as they say, Claire, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple and single step. And through this enterprise, through this one match, of course, you set the platform for very many things to come in the future. I would want to sort of look ahead to the future. What does the future for Cricket Without Borders look like? And what are the big things in the pipeline that you can talk us through?
So I think the world has changed very much since we took our first tour in 2011. So in those days, there was no T20 for young women. There was just Vic Spirit cricket. We were the first women's team to ever leave Victoria to play overseas. So now we have T20. We have one of our players, Alana King, plays for Australia, and she has played in the 100. She's playing in India. She is a superstar. The world has changed.
Can you talk us through the collaboration between yourself and Alana?
Yes, Alana is a great girl, and she came on our first tour in 2011 as a young 16-year-old out of the Cricket Victoria Academy. In fact, her parents, Leroy and Sharon, came too, and it was fantastic. She then went back to do her final year at school and had a rookie contract with Cricket Victoria. At the end of that year, they dumped her out of the academy. And they said, oh, look, you're not working hard enough, whatever. She was actually doing her VCE. So she needed to get good marks. She was training to be a teacher, wanting to be a teacher. So Then she was going to go and play baseball for Australia. And we thought, you know what? We don't want Alana to do that. So we took her on a scholarship to Japan, and she played in a tournament with us in Japan. So Alana starred in that, and then she also had an internship with Cricket Japan we'd set up. So she worked for 5 weeks in Japan, helping to promote the game in Japan. The following year, we took her to Samoa, where we played Papua New Guinea and Samoa in a tournament. And then she got a contract with the Melbourne Stars. She was back in the Victorian team, but she just couldn't break into the Australian team. And we sat down and had a cup of tea with her, Ken and myself. And then sometime later, she came to us and said, I've been asked to go to Western Australia. And Ken said, go. This is where you need to go. You need to go there, get a break. They're really keen to have you. This will change your career. And it did.
Wow. Sliding door moments, right? So many sliding door moments we talk about in a person's life and career, and especially in a field like sport where the vicissitudes of fortunes are so vast and the pendulum swings, decisively, that one decision can turn your fortunes like it did for Alana King. And right now she's, of course, much coveted on the WBBL circuit, on the English cricketing circuit, and of course India playing for WPL. Prior to that, she, of course, featured in the Women's T20 Challenge. So a lot of people looking out for Alana King, and it's a great platform, to sort of highlight that cricket could have lost her had Cricket Without Borders not stepped in those crucial encounters. So kudos to you and your team once again.
Well, she was always very talented. And it's a matter, Ken has mentored myself and many others of us along the journey. And he always gave good advice. And the main thing is she took it. She took it. And I say to the girls, I have a saying that I say to the girls, walk through the doors that open for you. And sometimes they're not the doors you had in mind or the doors you're expecting, but you've got to have a very good reason not to walk through them if you don't.
Keeping that in mind, Claire, how important do you reckon are the school visits and the clinics that Cricket Without Borders runs, and how important are these opportunities to open doors for female practitioners of the sport?
I think it's incredibly important, particularly in the Pacific. But I mean, even in Australia, you often look at co-ed schools and the boys take up more of the ground. There are more boys on the ground. But in the Pacific, the boys play sport and the girls hold back. So we mix the girls and boys up and they all play the drills with us together. And the boys go, oh, wow, the girls can play this sport. And once you've given a girl an education, the next most powerful thing you can do to give her opportunities is to get her to play a group sport. And we've actually worked with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia around working with young women and giving them cricket skills and playing cricket with them as part of their anti-family violence program in the Pacific. Yeah.
Excellent. Again, something that you mentioned, education, rights, human rights, and the sense of self, the sense of identity. It springs to mind what kind of a journey the Afghanistan women's cricketers have gone through, right? And one of their players, Binafsha Hashmi, was part of the tour that Cricket Without Borders organized to Fiji. Talk us through, what your key takeaways were from that tour, and just having somebody like Binafsha, while so much was happening against the backdrop of them not getting the kind of opportunities they very much deserved following the Taliban takeover, and of course, women in Afghanistan being stripped of very many other basic rights. To have Binafsha on tour to Fiji, what did it mean to Cricket Without Borders and to your entire mission?
It was just such a fantastic experience. I mean, she's a pocket rocket. She's got a mountain of energy. Her story is, we've heard bits of the story, but it is, a pretty grueling story. And but she's a bright spark. She loves her cricket. And it was just extraordinary for our girls who've had so much opportunity in Melbourne to hear the hurdles she had to go through to get to Pakistan, first of all, to cross the border and then to arrive in Australia not speaking English. So very important for our girls to understand that experience and also understand how cricket can really, change young women's lives. Banasha was incredible. She was lots of fun, and just the joy of her cricket, like the rest of her Afghani team. I mean, that was the one thing they held on to in those really dark times, was their love of the game.
Thank you very much once again for making time for this conversation, and we look forward to having you again on the show at some point.
My pleasure. Lovely to talk with you, Anisha.
That's a wrap on this episode of Wicket Women. A huge thank you to our incredible guests and to you for hitting play. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got more powerful stories and voices from the world of women's cricket coming your way soon.
It kind of all just happened before my eyes, and I didn't even know at the time I'd made 50, to be honest.
We speak with Australia's record-breaking all-rounder and rising international star, Tess Flintoff. Plus,
in WPL, of course, is the highest of the highest, so that's definitely on my bucket list.
Our South Africa Caught on Camera series continues with more from the mercurial bat of Tasman Brits. Bye for now. If you liked what you saw, spread the word and help us grow the Wicket Women community. I've been your AI host, Alexa Tunn. Until next time, keep swinging for those boundaries.